My name is Brent Baum, and I am not only your favorite contrarian, I'm the only contrarian. And I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And welcome to my vlog, my very first car vlog. And I'm pretty excited. It took some time to get it set up, but I'm here, and I'm ready to talk some football. A good friend of mine and I were discussing the other day about which second-year quarterback would you go with long-term. Whether you're talking about Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Dak Prescott. Clearly, Carson Wentz is having the best year among the three. 23 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Then you look at Dak Prescott, 16 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. And then you look at Jared Goff, who's had a bounce-back year with new offensive coordinator, new head coach with an offensive mind, Sean McVay. Jared Goff, 13 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. So it's a very good second-year class. Very good. Quarterback class a lot of people weren't so sure about, but now you can see it's coming to fruition, and it's a very good quarterback class. But if I were going to go with anybody, right now, I would go with Dak Prescott. And it's very simple. See, Dak Prescott, he's not going to lose you the game. He's a type of quarterback who not only does he have great mobility, but he has the intangibles. He has great poise. He doesn't panic. He's not the master of panic. You saw last year in the playoffs when everybody was saying that Green Bay was up early, just obliterating the Cowboys. They said, oh, throw in Romo. But Dak Prescott held his composure and brought the Cowboys back in the game. Now they eventually lost the game, but see, Dak, to me, he can make all the throws. He makes quick decisions. He's very accurate. Last year, he completed 67% of his passes. And he's just a great leader. He's not the most vocal guy, but he just has this confidence. He's very even-keeled, but you just know that he exudes confidence and leadership. And he did that all in his rookie year, which is very impressive. And not to mention, Dak can even throw the deep ball accurately, too. He doesn't throw it as deep as frequently because the Cowboys mostly run their offense through Zeke Elliott. But I think that Dak has that ability. If you need him to win the game with his arm, deep passes, he has the guys. And Des Bryant, Terrence Williams, Butler, and even Cole Beasley underneath. So if I were to go with somebody, it would be Dak Prescott. And I would take Dak Prescott over Wentz because Carson Wentz, as good of a year as he's having, his completion percentage isn't that great. He's only completing 60% of his passes. And there's a lot of passes that Carson Wentz throws where he'll overthrow the receiver. You notice that he's been struggling with developing chemistry with Alshon Jeffrey. The last couple of games, especially against Denver, you saw that he's starting to develop that chemistry with Alshon Jeffrey on the deep passes. But Wentz, not only is his completion percentage a little bit off, he's completing only 60% of his passes. Yes, you look at the 23 touchdowns, which leads the NFL, but it's just his accuracy at times is off. And he is going through his progressions a lot better this year. I will say that. He doesn't just stare down one receiver. And his ball security is a little bit better. But that ball security, to me, is still lacking a little bit. I think that that's an area that Wentz really has to work on. His turnovers, because he fumbles the ball. And when you're a mobile quarterback and you scramble as much as he does, he's more prone to fumbling the football. And at times, he'll take off and run when he doesn't need to take off and run. Or if he is going to take off and run, he just slide. Because mobile quarterbacks, they're going to get hurt to keep running. You look at Cam Newton, as big and powerful as he is, he gets hurt. What, 6'6", 260, he gets hurt. You look what happened to RG3. RG3 looked like a combination of Michael Vick and Peyton Manning, all wrapped up into one his first year, and then he got hurt. And now he's not even in the league. So Wentz just needs to be a little bit more careful when it comes to that type of stuff. And like I said, it's early. It is early. Wentz doesn't have a playoff sample size like Dak Prescott does. Dak did play one playoff game last year, and he played very well in that game. But going over to Jared Goff, see, this is going to really throw you guys off. But if I were to pick a quarterback next, my second guy I would pick, I'm going to pick Jared Goff over Carson Wentz. And the reason why is because Jared Goff, to me, he's so talented. He's so much better than Carson Wentz at throwing deep passes accurately. I've stood by that. Carson Wentz, he's showing at times he makes great throws. He can make all the great throws. But Jared Goff, when it comes to deep passing, the sideline passes, the post patterns, going up top, Jared Goff is more accurate on those passes. Just look at the film. Look at the film. Just look at it. You saw last week when he threw that deep pass to Sammy Watkins. That was on the money. That was on the money. And I just trust Jared Goff is not going to be as prone to injury as Carson Wentz. That's what it comes down to for me. Because to me, Carson Wentz and Jared Goff are very similar in the sense of that they are franchise quarterbacks. They're guys that you can win games with. It's just, I want a guy who I know is not going to put their body on the line as frequently. And Jared Goff is I would say in the intermediate game, Jared Goff and Carson Wentz are pretty similar. Very accurate on the short passes. Carson Wentz has more mobility, but in terms of accuracy, and Carson Wentz has a stronger arm. Just because you have a stronger arm does not mean that your deep passing is as accurate. So that's just how I look at it. For me, in a nutshell, I would go with Dak Prescott, more so, number one. Then my second guy I'll go with is Jared Goff, and then Carson Wentz. But you really can't go wrong about either of them, because they're all having a great year. All three of them, as Birdman would say. But all three of them are having a great year. But I do want to shift the topic over to the Eagles. They're on a bye week right now. It's a good time for people to rest up, especially for Jay Ajayi. If he would have stayed in Miami, he would not get a bye. Granted, the hurricanes that they were having in Miami, so this is a early Christmas gift for Jay Ajayi. He can rest up those knees. I know that was one of the concerns that a lot of I guess the Miami Dolphins coaching staff had about, and Adam Gase had about Jay Ajayi is his knees. How long can he last? So he's going to need some rest. Carson Wentz, he can't do any better than what he's doing right now. I think the most that Carson Wentz needs to work on is some of those deep passes, sure of that, improve his completion percentage, because for a guy that is throwing 23 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, the 60% completion percentage is pretty low. I would think it would be like at least 65. So I think that's an area he can definitely work on. He knows that. But when I look at the offense, I really think that they need to get the ball. I know it's early and that Jay Ajayi is not on all the plays, but Jay Ajayi needs to be the number one running back. He needs to get at least 20 to 25 carries a game, and then relegate LeGarrette Blount to, I would say, 5 to 10 carries a game. And it's not that LeGarrette Blount is going to lose that big of a role. I still think that they can use him on short yardage, goal line plays, mix them up, use J.M. Blount. Maybe you can use Jay Ajayi as a decoy, or even use Blount as a decoy. You can put them both in the backfield and mix it up and confuse defenses. But Jay Ajayi, he showed when he's with Miami, he gets better with the more carries he gets and the further he gets into the game. You looked at last year, he had two 200-yard games back-to-back, 200 rushing yards. That's incredible, especially in this pass-heavy driven league. So if I were the Eagles, I would get Jay Ajayi the ball. You have to give him the ball. Granted, you only have to trade a 4th-round pick, but you look at this guy as being your future running back for the next 4 or 5 years, however long those knees can hold up. And I think that Wentz just needs to continue developing chemistry with Alshon Jeffrey. If the Eagles want to get far into the playoffs, they need Alshon Jeffrey and Wentz to be on the same page. You can't have your tight end. You can't have your tight end as your best receiver. You just can't. You saw well that worked out the Chiefs all those years when they had Tony Gonzalez as their best tight end. As their best receiver, period. So you gotta have a guy. Your receiver has to be your best option. You gotta have that go-to receiver, and Jeffrey's that guy. He's that guy. Because he has a great large catcher radius. He can catch balls in the red zone, on the sidelines. He's that guy. 6'4", 6'3" that you need. But on the defensive end, I think the defense is just looking great. Even that secondary. I know I had some question marks about the secondary going into the season, saying that they were suspect. They were suspect since 2013. But Jalen Mills has been a lot better. I question his aggressiveness, but his aggressiveness is working for him. And then you also look at Rasul Douglas is a guy who I like a lot. 6'3", 6'2", big cornerback. Can cover the bigger receivers. I'm really high on him. I've always been high on him. It's going to be, and also Malcolm Jenkins, McLeod, they're doing a good job as usual. Safeties are pretty good, doing a good job. And against the tight, I think they do need work of going against the tight ends a little bit in the slot. They had some trouble against Jordan Reed, Travis Kelce, top tight ends, but at times I feel like they struggle in that area. But the front seven, probably the best in football, anchored by Fletcher Cox. He's showing that why he's worth all that money. Brandon Graham. Just the 4-3 scheme is ideal for these Eagles front four. I love how they rotate guys with Chris Long, Bo Allen, Derek Barnett. I think that's great that they're mixing it up. And I think that a lot of times we get confused. We get a little over the top because Derek Barnett, he went to Tennessee, broke Reggie White's sack record, but I think we need to stop talking about that. Stop mentioning that. Just because you broke Reggie White's sack record does not mean that he's going to be Reggie White. All right? But it looks good. The front four, I love how they rotate. It's very reminiscent of the New York Giants that won the Super Bowl against the Patriots that ended the Patriots' perfect season. You need guys to stay fresh, and the fact that Jim Schwartz does not like the blitz a lot, it requires the defensive line to have a lot of energy so they can continue to put pressure on the quarterback. And then the linebackers, I think Jordan Hicks, that's just going to be a huge blow to them. Jordan Hicks, it's going to be a huge blow. Long term, that's just a huge loss. You need that middle linebacker anchoring your defense, calling the plays. It's one of those things that I don't know. It's too early to tell because I've mentioned this before. The problem with the Eagles team is that, see, the Eagles, the teams that they have played, they only have one really quality win, and that's against the Panthers. Okay? See, the Redskins, to me, you can say the Redskins are solid, but they're not a great team. I'm not big on the Redskins. And then, we'll talk about the team that they beat that weren't so great. You look at the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Giants. They play the Giants again. The 49ers, 0-9 49ers. So it's one of those things where it's just, I don't know, man. Like I feel like they haven't had that marquee game yet, and they're gonna have some tougher games. Seattle, even though they'll have Sherman, Seattle's gonna be a tough matchup. The Rams are gonna be a tough matchup. I think the Raiders are gonna be a tough matchup, despite the fact their defense isn't that great. But Derek Carr still has weapons like Crabtree and Amari Cooper. They still got beast mode, Marshawn Lynch. They got to play against the Cowboys twice. Even though they will be Zeke-less, it's still going to be a tough matchup, I think, against the Cowboys. They have a solid defense that Rob Marinelli runs, and they got Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, I think he's going to show everybody he can make plays happen without Zeke Elliott. I think that a lot of people get that misconstrued. They think Zeke Elliott made Dak Prescott. No, they made each other. Without Dak, there will be no Zeke. Without Zeke, there will be no Dak. Because if Dak wasn't as good as he was last year and they went to like Kellen Moore, eventually teams would have just load up the box and play base fronts against Zeke and just taking away their run. And he wouldn't have as big of a year as he did. So it's different things that you got to be cognizant of when it comes to quarterbacks and running backs, and that they work together. It's not just one guy makes one guy. I mean, sure, you have your game managers that rely on a heavy running game and a strong defense, but at the same time, that player is good. He's good. That's just the bottom line. It's not so much that it's just this one guy. So, but yeah, not just some football talk. I think that it's gonna be a good way for the Eagles to prepare and just get themselves ready for when they do play against the Cowboys, because they're gonna have some interesting matchups. I think that's something that they got to prepare for. The Cowboys, those 2 games against the Cowboys, that's going to be huge, because as much as the Eagles 8-1, the division's not over yet. They still got a ways to go. They still got some tough games to play, but that's all I have to say. This weekend I'm actually coming back home, visiting my parents' house. It's been some time since I've been back here. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm taking my dog, Chauncey, named Chauncey after Chauncey Billups. I'm taking him to the vet. He hasn't been there for a while. He doesn't like vets, so I might vlog that and show you guys that, see how he reacts to that. But yeah, I got Chauncey and my other dog, Gobi. My mom named him that after, I guess, the Gobi Desert. So yeah, that should be fun. But you will see some more football talk, and I will be talking more about Eagles, and the podcast will be out. It'll be coming up pretty soon. And also, I'm going to be getting back my YouTube channel. I'm going to be focusing with my YouTube channel to get 100 subscribers by the end of November. Okay, the end of November. I can do that. I have about 37 subscribers right now. So 100 subscribers. I think that can be done. I think that's possible. It is possible. But do want to leave you guys on a note that I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. I rest my case.